It is no news that Ibrahim Traore wants the best for his country. We can see this from the projects he has been carrying out, the tightening of security, and many other aspects. He recently launched the country's first treasury deposit bank in Ouagadougou. However, in a move that has captured the attention of international observers and economists, Traore has decided to decline financial assistance from the International Monetary Fund. So, in today's video, we will tell you more about this recent development. But before we continue, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the New Tourist channel to get updates on whatever is happening in Burkina Faso and Africa. Traore's decision to turn down financial aid from the IMF is noteworthy as the West African country negotiates its political and economic landscape. To solve Burkina Faso's balance of payment problems and support efforts to reduce poverty and promote economic resilience, the IMF, which is renowned for lending money to nations in need, authorized a significant agreement under the Extended Credit Facility. Nevertheless, the administration of President Traore has chosen to decline this offer. This choice may be seen as a declaration of financial independence and a determination to take an alternative route to prosperity and stability. It is indicative of a larger pattern in which African leaders are assessing the conditions and long-term effects of foreign financial assistance. President Traore's position might be in line with the growing trend toward independence and caution when it comes to foreign debt. The idea that accepting IMF help would increase economic dependency and restrict the nation's ability to make financial decisions is one of the main arguments used to oppose the organization's support. There's also the belief that taking the aid could keep the nation mired in a financial trap. This viewpoint is consistent with a larger trend among certain African leaders who prefer policies that support autonomy and self-determination and reevaluate the long-term effects of international financial aid. The decision also takes into account worries about foreign financial organizations' ability to sway domestic objectives and policies. Burkina Faso is reaffirming its financial independence and a commitment to putting the welfare of its people ahead of outside influences by declining the IMF aid. It's crucial to remember that Burkina Faso faces numerous challenges, including security issues and the impact of external shocks such as the COVID-19 pandemic and adverse weather conditions. Despite these obstacles, the government's choice indicates a readiness to deal with these issues on its own, maybe seeking other collaboration and support models that are more in line with the objectives and values of the country. We should note that in April, the International Monetary Fund forecasted Burkina Faso to become the fourth largest economy in the CFA franc zone in 2024, overtaking its neighbor Mali, which was now going to fall back to fifth place, despite an increase in its economy to $21.6 billion. Burkina Faso's robust efforts to combat terrorism and secure its territories were expected to bear fruit, with the IMF projecting the country's GDP growth to reach 5.5% this year. Note that Burkina Faso has also been grappling with a security crisis spurred by terrorist groups in the northern region. Consequently, Captain Ibrahim Traore, the transitional president, has prioritized combating terrorism. In response, multiple initiatives have been launched, including the Patriotic Support Fund aimed at restoring and strengthening national security across the territory. In September, Niger, along with fellow ECOWAS members Burkina Faso and Mali, formed a military alliance called the Association of Sahel States. 4 months later, the trio announced their withdrawal from the larger bloc for illegal, illegitimate, inhumane, and irresponsible sanctions it imposed on them after coups. Later, reports emerged of a possible parting ways with the neo-colonialist currency, the West African franc, that has kept about 14 former French colonies in bondage. Ibrahim Traore is breaking all ties that kept his people in slavery. It is clear that the IMF and World Bank have been in panic since Traore decided to launch the first treasury bank in Burkina Faso. The bank is unprecedented in a country that has been plagued by terror threats since 2015, leading to the collapse of the economic and social-political sectors. Traore claims that the bank will be more accessible to the populace and will support the nation's socioeconomic advancement by financing projects and initiatives more suitably free from parasitic and exploitative support from Western nations and institutions like the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. African nations are notoriously subjected to severe terms and unconscionably high interest rates, while receiving loans from the IMF and World Bank. Traore has invited public and private development organizations and economic operators to make use of this bank to participate in the collective construction of a sovereign economy at the service of his country's development. Ibrahim Traore's decision to decline financial assistance from the International Monetary Fund has sparked a significant amount of discussion and debate. This move is seen as a bold assertion of Burkina Faso's financial sovereignty and a commitment to prioritizing the country's long-term interests. This choice, according to many analysts and economists, represents a turning point for Burkina Faso as it negotiates its political and economic environment. The IMF is renowned for giving money to countries in need, and the funds given to Burkina Faso were intended to help with the nation's balance of payments issues, as well as to promote initiatives to reduce poverty and increase economic resilience. Ibrahim Traore's decision to decline financial assistance from the International Monetary Fund has sparked a significant amount of discussion and debate. This move is seen as a bold assertion of Burkina Faso's financial sovereignty and a commitment to prioritizing the country's long-term interests. Many observers and economists have noted that this decision marks a significant moment for Burkina Faso as it navigates its economic and political landscape. The IMF is known for providing financial support to countries in need, and the funds offered to Burkina Faso were aimed at addressing the country's balance of payments problems and supporting economic resilience and poverty reduction efforts. However, Traore's administration has expressed concerns about the potential for international financial institutions to influence domestic policy and priorities. By turning down the IMF assistance, Burkina Faso is demonstrating a commitment to safeguarding its country's long-term interests and preventing the nation from falling into debt traps due to loans with stringent conditions. Traore's stance has been praised by some for its boldness and commitment to financial sovereignty. His choice is perceived as a rejection of the custom of taking out billion-dollar loans from global institutions such as the World Bank and the IMF, which some argue, by their institutionalized work, sustain economic subjugation by trapping nations in a never-ending cycle of debt. However, some political observers have noted that while Traore's decision has attracted attention, he still needs to put certain structures on the ground that would allow him to build a reputable legacy. Traore's decision could also have some implications. A significant agreement under the Extended Credit Facility for Burkina Faso was authorized by the IMF to resolve the nation's balance of payments issues and bolster initiatives to reduce poverty and promote economic resilience. Rejecting the IMF now indicates that Burkina Faso wants to deal with these problems on its own. Short-term financial difficulties could result from this, especially given the nation's current economic circumstances. Burkina Faso is currently facing acute food insecurity, with about 3.5 million Burkinabé estimated to be in acute food insecurity. The IMF assistance was also intended to help address this crisis. Without this aid, the government will need to find alternative ways to tackle this issue. As we all know, Traore has been doing his best to promote agriculture in Burkina Faso. President Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso is leading the construction of an $8 million tomato processing facility to revolutionize the country's agriculture industry. Bear in mind that Burkina Faso's economy is based primarily on agriculture, which employs between 80 and 90% of the country's workforce. This sector makes a substantial contribution to the GDP of the country. Burkina Faso imports tomato puree from Europe as a result to suit its domestic needs. The tomato processing facility resolves this problem by permitting local tomato processing. By converting tomatoes into a variety of products, including paste, puree, and sauces, this program not only strengthens the local economy, but also creates jobs and supports sustainable agricultural standards. Burkina Faso has the potential to improve food security, increase the value of its agricultural output, and raise farmer livelihoods. This is what Traore intends to do. In little or no time, he would have tackled the issue of hunger in his country. Burkina Faso's dedication to financial autonomy is demonstrated by Ibrahim Traore's choice to turn down IMF help. This audacious action highlights the nation's resolve to forge its own path in the face of formidable obstacles. Although this choice has some dangers as earlier stated, it also gives Burkina Faso the chance to investigate fresh avenues for sustainable development and economic resilience. Do you think the Treasury Bank will be of help to Burkina Faso as Traore has turned down the IMF? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do not forget to like this video and subscribe to the New Tourist channel. Turn on notifications too so you get notified whenever we upload videos like this. Thanks for watching and see you in our next video.